We live and in action for week 2 of the PCL. This is a highly anticipated week. Welcome everybody. File in, grab your popcorn. It's going to be an exciting day here for the first day of week 2 of the PCL. Now, I know a lot of you guys might not know what the PCL is, so let me go ahead and put you on game and break down to you exactly what it is. The PCL is simply the best debate league in the world. We got 16 of the hottest contestants from around the globe. We put them all in one room, and these guys will debate against each other, manu a manu, one versus one, to see who has the best basketball takes, the best basketball knowledge, who boasts the most aura when it comes to talking basketball. You know, that matter, or really matters. But let me get into a few matchups for today. In case you missed week 1 last week, go check it out. It was some hot matchups. This week is going to be even better. Starting off by what you guys voted as the matchup of the week. Dion from Ohio versus Jack Cote. That's actually our first matchup, and we're about to get to that here very soon. Right after that, we got Big Ox. Y'all know Big Ox from the panel. Versus Casual. Casual, he's came up and he's cooked a couple times. He had a battle last week against Elder Rufus, and he held his own. He hopes to do the same thing against Big Ox this week. And last but not least, speaking of Elder Rufus, we got Elder Rufus versus OGDABEAST, a heavyweight matchup with two OGs. I can't wait to see that. But with no further ado, let me get these guys up here. Actually, before I do that, because I know you're probably wondering, what are these guys debating for? What are they debating about? Why does this matter? Well, I'm going to tell you why this matters. Because the winner of the PCL gets a big cash prize of $1,000. And also, they get to boast this belt right here. So I'm holding it right now, but the winner of the PCL will get this sent directly to them on a first-class first-class flight directly to them right after they win the PCL. It's a 7-week debate league. We have four weeks of the regular season, and then we'll have a 3-week playoff where it will be single elimination. If you lose, you got to go home, brother. All right, well, let's do it. I'm going to bring up my man, Dion, first.
What's good, y'all? What's good?
How
you doing today? Man, I've been feeling good, man. Feeling good, ready to compete. You know what I'm saying? I'm unstoppable. You know what I'm saying? I got my notes right here. I'm ready for anything that come my way.
No doubt, no doubt. How you feel about this being voted the matchup of the week?
I'm excited, man. I appreciate everybody out there that want to hear us conversate. Me and bro, we got a little history before, so I definitely understand it. You know, I'm just ready to perform. You know, so I'm just ready to go.
Okay. That's fire. All right, let me get my man Jack up here. Jack, how you feeling, man?
I feel beautiful. That's a nice sign you got there. LeBron.
Appreciate it, bro.
Great player.
That's cute.
Nah. I give a lot of respect to that sign. I just got a bigger poster that I'm staring at. It's Jason Tatum dunking on LeBron James.
Oh, just like how he beat you in Game 7? That same year, right?
Respect. Let's get to the question.
All right. As you can see, Dion got his Lakers stuff behind him. As you can see, Jack got a Celtics hat, but behind him, I'm sure he has a Celtics hat on, and he got a Celtics shirt on too. So you could kind of already sense what we about to get into. But let's go ahead and do it. Topic 1, round 1. We're gonna go ahead and do the thing. You guys already know how we doing it. 1 minute and 30 seconds. You guys get it. Dion, you are going first. And the first topic today is, well, I'm gonna just let you guys know what all 3 topics are before we get into it. The first topic, we got LeBron versus Jason Tatum. Right now, who is better? The second topic, we got the 2 most storied franchises in the NBA, the Lakers and the Celtics. These 2 will debate which franchise is the greatest of all time. And then last but not least, we got Kyrie Irving versus Damian Lillard. It's simple. Who's more clutch? But all right, we're going to get back into topic 1. LeBron versus Jason Tatum right now. Who is the better player? Dion, it is on you first. The time starts when you start.
Right. So when we talk about LeBron James and Jason Tatum, who's better, you got to start off by saying how good LeBron James was in year 21, right? So I'm going to tell you guys how good LeBron James was, and then we'll pick up from there, right? So how good was LeBron James in year 21, right? LeBron played 71 games, averaged 26, 7, and 8, shot 54% from the field and 41% from three. He did all that on 5 attempts. Only LeBron James and Kevin Durant averaged 25 points on 50% from the field and 40% from the three. Now, when you also include LeBron James' assists, he's the only player in NBA history to do so, right? LeBron played 35 minutes per game. This year, 1 out of 8 times LeBron had a higher per 40 out of 29. This is one of the 8 years. Top 3 true shooting year this season. LeBron ended with a 63% true shooting, right? Only been higher twice in his career, and that was in Miami, where he shot around 64 to 65% true shooting. Also, his AST, he finished top 2 in his career at 25.8. LeBron scored a total of 1,822 points for this season. He hasn't got over 1,700 since 2018 season, the same year he beat Tatum. LeBron shot 73% in the restricted area while also shooting 41% from 25 feet. LeBron only missed 6 dunks this year, and he's a 93% success rate at the dunking the ball. LeBron rises in away games. He goes from 24 points at home to 26 points away. And also he's number 2 in fast break points behind Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Hey, Dion coming out making a compelling case for LeBron. Jack, it looks like you got some work to do. Go ahead. Your time starts when you do.
Yeah, that was a lot of stats, but what I see with my very own eyes is the greatest basketball player of all time, and I'm not talking about LeBron James. I'm talking about Jason Tatum. Okay, in the last 3 seasons, you have to look at the game of basketball. You have to understand Tatum's been there. The Celtics have been there. They have been the team to beat for the past 3 seasons. You could not say that there is a better player in the game of basketball in the last 3 seasons other than maybe Jokic. I'll give you that. I would even give you Giannis, but he's been very hurt. Jason Tatum has been phenomenal over the last 3 years, and that's what I'm looking at. But when you look at who is the better player right now, we got a prime example. They're both on the same team. Who's playing, who's not playing. I get it. It's LeBron's team. They're calling it the Levengers. But there is a difference between being the best player, being the best player that is your role. Steve Kerr has given LeBron James the best player role, but Jason Tatum is the best player on the team. I understand that LeBron James has earned the role to be the best player. That does not make him the best player on the team. He has the role of the best player. But listen, Jason Tatum is 26 years old. LeBron James is 40 years old. However old they both are, I look at them as very similar players. When you look at Jason Tatum, a lot of people say he looks like Kobe Bryant the way he plays. I see him more of a LeBron James. So who would you rather have? An old LeBron or a guy entering his prime in Jason Tatum?
Compelling cases for these two guys in round 1. Dion, we're going to kick off round 2 right now. Your time starts when you do.
So I love how you asked the question of would you rather have an old LeBron or younger LeBron James? So these are the things LeBron James done better than Tatum this season, right? So from field goal range, LeBron shoots 54%. Tatum shoots 47.1. LeBron James from the three-point line shoots 41%. Tatum shoots 37.6. LeBron James' assist total is 8 a game. Tatum's only 4.9, so I'll give him 5. LeBron James, he averaged 5 assists his rookie season. I mean, so the same year that Tatum's in, LeBron James was averaging around 7 to 8 assists. So I wouldn't compare Tatum to LeBron James. Let me keep going. Tatum's steals, 1. LeBron James, 1.3. LeBron James has a better turnover to assist ratio than Tatum. LeBron James' efficiency, LeBron is 30 to Tatum's 27.6. Field goals made, LeBron James is 9.6 to Tatum's 9.1. Despite Tatum taking more shots per game, LeBron's making more shots a game than Tatum. Per 48, LeBron clears about the water. I mean, it's pretty bad. LeBron James per 48 averages 35 points, 10 rebounds, 11 assists, 54% from the field, and 41% from 3, compared to Tatum that's only averaging 36 points, 11 rebounds, and 7 assists, 47% from the field, and 38% from 3. LeBron James this season, not year 12, 10 LeBron. This season, LeBron was top 6 in PER. Tatum, 13th in PER. LeBron James was top 3 in fourth quarter scoring. Tatum, 17th. It doesn't matter what age LeBron James is at. He just does more on the floor than Tatum, and it's just that. LeBron's better than Tatum now. He was better than Tatum back then. It's that simple.
Clear cut and simple. All right, Jack, talk to us, my man.
You know, I think you're throwing a lot of stats at me, but ultimately you just have to look at who's the better basketball player in this current moment. Who would I rather have? And to me, you can't pass up on somebody that offers what Jason Tatum offers. We talk about Tatum not as a scorer, not as a passer, but as everything. He does it all. Jason Tatum, in many ways, is the perfect basketball player. I love to ask people, and I'll let you answer once my time is up, but does Jason Tatum have a weakness? I don't think he does. Everyone talks about all these different flaws. Before Jason Tatum won a title, it was, oh, Jason Tatum, you can't win a title. But there was never a single weakness that was brought up other than, oh, maybe he's too passive in big moments and Marcus Smart is taking big shots over him. Jason Tatum is a winner. All he's done is win since he's gotten into the league. He's had a Hall of Fame career in just 7 years. I'm sitting here saying that LeBron James, as great as he is, Jason Tatum at the age of 26 has the chance to do what LeBron James couldn't do, and that is catch Michael Jordan's 6 championships, because Jason Tatum was drafted to the Boston Celtics. LeBron James drafted to Cleveland. I understand that LeBron has bounced around, but I think when you're in consistent situations the way that Tom Brady was, if you're in a consistent situation, that's going to allow you to win and succeed at the highest level. So the second Jason Tatum was drafted to the Boston Celtics, I knew with the talent, he could develop into the player he is now, and this is not the best version of Jason Tatum. He will continue to get better, but LeBron James, Tatum, they're the same player. I would just rather have a 26-year-old version.
All right, here we go. It is round 3 of topic 1, LeBron James versus Jason Tatum. Who's better? Dion, it's time for you to make your closing argument.
All right, so, I've already told you guys about the things that LeBron James is better than Tatum at. No narrative, straight facts when it comes to this. Another thing LeBron James has over Tatum, 25 points, 5 rebounds, 5 assists games. LeBron 34 to Tatum's 27, even though Tatum played like 4 games more than LeBron James. But the last minute, I want to just talk to you guys about some of the best moments LeBron James had this season. I'm going to start with the must-win game, the last game of the season versus the Pelicans. LeBron put up 28, 11, and 17, plus 5 steals in a must-win to put him in a good position for the playoffs. Or how about the game before when LeBron James put up 37, 9, and 5 against Memphis? The game before that, it was 2 must-wins back-to-back. And if that doesn't move you, we can talk about the 40-piece when he shot 9 for 10 from the three-point line, 90% from the three-point line, and he had Brooklyn on fire, right? So he was inside of Brooklyn, shot 9 for 10 from the three-point line. What an amazing job. And one of my all-time favorites of the last 37 seconds is obviously versus the Warriors when they went double overtime. LeBron James during that game put up 36 points. He dished out 12 assists, and also he had 20 rebounds. And don't forget, he was 100% from the free throw line that game as well. When you talk about these games and talk about battle-tested, there's nobody more you'll want in that situation than LeBron James. The heights of those games I just named to you, Jason Tatum didn't even come close to even reaching those heights this season. I'm not talking about a year 16 LeBron James. I'm talking about a year 21 LeBron James had at least 3 to 4 games way better than Tatum could ever dream of. LeBron James this season got robbed of first All-NBA, and this proves it to you guys right here.
Jason Tatum won the championship this year. And if you want to say that he didn't win finals MVP, then fine. But I think every championship is a collaborative effort. And in this year, more than any, it seems like in the past 10 years, or really all of basketball, it's been about the superstars. And in this year, we're talking about the Celtics after they've won the title. Like, they don't have the superstar. They have the superstars. It's Jason Tatum, it's Jaylen Brown. And what they did this year was special as a duo, but it started with Jason Tatum. I want to point out that the reason for the Celtics' success, not just in this year, but over the course of the last 7 years, being able to not trade Jaylen Brown, trading Marcus Smart, acquiring Kristaps and Drew Holiday, having Derek White look like a freaking Hall of Famer. He is one of the best players on Team USA right now. That is all credit to him playing with Jason Tatum and Tatum making him better. Jaylen Brown still being a Celtic is all credit to what Jason Tatum has done in terms of his consistency. I understand that LeBron James is probably going to go down when he retires as the greatest of all time, if not the second greatest. But in this current moment, I say Jason Tatum is LeBron James, but he can shoot the ball. And Jason Tatum, it's hard to say what Tatum doesn't do good. To me, I think there are certain weaknesses in LeBron James's game.
All right, there you have it. It's time to go ahead and run the poll right now and see who won the first topic. LeBron James, which Dion had, versus Jason Tatum, which Jack had. That was a hot first round. These boys came out swinging. They came out gunning, off to a fast start for topic one. Make sure you get over to these polls, vote on who you got, and to let you guys know a little bit about the voting and everything and how that goes, you can read this right here. It's pinned at the top of the chat. The voting information for these NBA debates. Basically, you got the live vote, which all of those votes matter. And then you got the votes for the people who rewatch it that aren't watching it live. Those votes matter too. How do you make those votes? You simply will state the battle and you state the rounds, who won it. So if you think that Dion won round one, you would simply just say Dion won round one. And then obviously after round 2 and 3, you would say, okay, I got Dion 2-1 or I got Jack in a sweep. Simple as that. And then you would do that for all the battles. So if you think Big Ox won his battle, you would do the same thing. If you think OGDABEAST wins his battle against Elder Rufus, you would do that as well. And then we will tally up every single vote, the live votes and the votes after the video, put them all together, and whoever gets the most will win. And keep in mind, too, this voting will go throughout the duration of the regular season. And then those total votes will factor in how we will seed 1 through 16 going into the playoffs. All right. You got a few more seconds, 5 more seconds to go ahead and vote. As of right now, it looks like Dion is taking round one 82 to 18. 82%, that is, to 18%.
Sure.
All right, Dion, you came and cleaned up round one. Let's get into round two. In case you don't know, now you know. Round two will be the Lakers versus the Celtics, all-time franchises. Which one is greater? We got the 2 most storied franchises in the National Basketball Association. Dion, we started with you round one. So, Jack, I'm going to start with you on this one. Your time starts when you do.
18 is more than 17, and one team decided to hang an in-season tournament banner. That should tell you everything you need to know about this question. I understand the talent, the greatness that has been a part of the Los Angeles Lakers. There's no denying the amount of talent that has been on the Lakers roster. But you have to understand that in many ways, the homegrown championships are what are the greatest thing in the history of life. To me, the Celtics, with what they have drafted and built up, is a more impressive thing, especially since you have 18 championships versus the 17 championships. You have LeBron James, you have Shaquille O'Neal, you have Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, you have all these guys that went over to the Lakers, weren't drafted by them. And to me, the Celtics with the 18 championships, and I haven't even mentioned his name yet in this current debate, one franchise has Jason Tatum, okay? And not only does one franchise have Jason Tatum, the other franchise wishes they had Jason Tatum. They had a chance to draft Jason Tatum, but they're so distracted with the media and being in the spotlight of Los Angeles that they had to draft Lonzo Ball. Where is he now? I don't even know, okay? So we need to understand the Celtics are the greatest franchise in the history of life because of their homegrown championships. What they've done in the last 10 years is beautiful because it's going to set them up for the next 10 years. What they did to start the NBA, it's a beautiful thing. And Larry versus Magic, it's a wash.
All right, it's a wash. Dion, it's on you. Round
All
one.
right. So, first of all, before you talk about a great team, you got to talk about the great players on the team. I see you mentioned something about it, but I'm going to mention a little bit more right now. Okay, so the ESPN official top 10 list. Now, I completely disagree on a lot of the lists of where the people are at on the list, but for the most part, it's a pretty solid 10, right? So at number 10, you have Shaq, you know what I'm saying, Laker. At number 9, you have Kobe, Laker. At number 8, you have Tim Duncan, obviously not a Laker. Larry Bird is the first Celtics on the list at number 7. Wilt Chamberlain at 6 is a Laker. Magic at 5 is a Laker. Bill Russell is the second one on the list at 4. Then you got Kareem at 3 is a Laker. And then also LeBron at 2 is a Laker. And you got MJ, right? So 6-2 of the Boston Celtics, I mean, is literally in the top 10 is Lakers compared to Celtics, right? Lakers got 4 of the 6 greatest players to ever live, to ever lace them up. Lakers got 3 of the 5 greatest players to ever live as well. Lakers' best duo, they have 2 of the 3 best duos in NBA history, and Shaquille O'Neal and Kobe, and they got Kareem and Magic, right? When you're talking about greatest teams, you got to mention the greatest players. And nobody has more British players than the Lakers, right? This is very important because this shows how great the franchise has been over the last 10 years and it will continue to be. And then also, they have another top 10 duo that's not even talked about right now in LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So they got 3 top 10 duos on the Lakers right now as we speak.
All right, Jack, it's back at you. Round 2. You got it.
I would be mistaken if I left out Larry Bird in this conversation. I think what Larry Bird signifies for the Boston Celtics is everything. In many eyes, he's the greatest of all time. Although he wasn't the most athletic, didn't jump out the gym, what he was able to do, it almost reminds me of like a present day Nikola Jokic, the way that he just demoralizes teams and demoralizes players and people watching Nikola Jokic, myself included. It's tough to watch Nikola Jokic with his unathletic ability just cook everyone. And that was Larry Bird. He was everything and more for the Boston Celtics. And if you're going to bring up all those players, to me, I think a lot of times one player can trump all. And in this case, Larry Bird, Larry Legend is that guy. I understand they had great players, but it's about championship teams, not championship players. And to me, I think championship teams, it has to go to the Boston Celtics. They're the greatest team of all time. And to me, it's like Boston versus all. You never hear Los Angeles versus all. Everyone wants to go play in LA. They get all the free agents, but nobody wants to go play in Boston. Everyone hates on Boston. It's Boston versus all. We do it our way. And not only are we set up for success in the future, we started it. We were doing it in the middle. Then Jordan came in and we kind of had a little bit of a drought. Then we got it back. And although we acquired guys like Kevin Garnett and Ray Allen, those are no comparison to Shaquille O'Neal and LeBron James, and we still won a title.
All right. It's back on you, Dion. Jack just cooked. Can you cook, Dion?
Jack, I'm so happy you mentioned drought because that was my next topic. I call this topic the 16-year drought, right? So I want you to keep this number in your mind, 1976. And everybody, all the NBA fans out there know what 1976 is, right? It's the NBA merger. Since 1976 NBA merger, Lakers never went on a 16-year-old drought. Boston did from 2008 to 2024. Lakers, since the 1976 merger, has won 11 championships compared to Boston's 6, right? Lakers repeated once since that time period, and they also two-peated 3 times since the NBA merger, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, another thing, since the NBA merger in 1976, that's a magic number, right? The Lakers takes a 3-2 lead in head-to-head matchups against Boston Celtics. They beat them in 2010, they beat them in 1987, and they also beat them in 1985, right? Boston Celtics has been irrelevant for the last 20 years since literally they won a championship this season. Lakers won 5 titles to Boston 1 in 2000 alone, right? Lakers being one of the biggest markets out there. I mean, acquiring players like LeBron James, Kareem, Shaq, Anthony Davis, right? Boston sat on 2 max contracts from like 2018 until they signed Tatum and all those guys. They sat on 2 max contracts for years and nobody wanted to go to their team. It's not only because of what Boston represents, it's how they treat their players, right? Right? So and the thing about it is when it comes to Lakers, man, the new era and the actual NBA since the NBA merger, they have dominated compared to the Celtics.
Okay. The chef from Ohio has entered the building. Shout out to Chef from Ohio. Jack, it's on you for round 3. It's your time to close off this debate right now.
I don't feel like Dion has addressed the fact that one franchise has 18 championships and the other has 17. Now, I don't know if he's allowed to speak right now, but to me, I think that's the elephant in the room here, and that decides all, because ultimately this game of basketball, it's been going on for a while. There's a lot of, moving pieces and different changes in the games. You just have to ultimately look at who has more championships. Am I wrong to say that the 18 trumps the 17 and that, yeah, the Lakers had a bunch of great players, but they're in Los Angeles? The Celtics, they are the definition of basketball, team basketball, developing and having the best players. When you go to Boston, you become a better basketball player. When you put on that Celtics jersey, you become a better basketball player because you're surrounded with greatness. When you go to the Los Angeles Lakers, I don't really know if you're surrounded with greatness or just a bunch of chaos and spotlight. There's a whole lot of distractions in Los Angeles. Hey, I always tell kids that are, 17, 18 years old that want to go play Division I basketball, go to Gonzaga. What the hell are you going to do in Spokane, Washington, other than play basketball? It's about going to a place where you're going to win, and it's about basketball. And playing in front of TD Garden fans, Boston fans, is way better than playing a bunch of celebs in Los Angeles. That's my opinion. Boston versus all.
All right, y'all. That's the end of Jack's last round. Dion, you got one more round for this topic. Lakers versus Celtics. Go ahead.
Last minute and 30 seconds, guys. I wanted to talk to you guys about competition versus Lakers versus Celtics. I'm going to start in 1980. In 1980, the Seattle Supersonics, coming off a championship, recorded 56-26. They was third in the West and got smoked by the Lakers 1-4. Ironically, it's the same year Boston went 61-21 just to lose to Dr. J 76ers. The same 76ers that lost to rookie Magic Johnson in 3-1, in Game 7. In Game 7, they lost to to Magic Johnson and the Lakers, right? So, or let's talk about the early 2000s when the Lakers had to deal with Tim Duncan, Manu, Tony Parker. From 2000 to 2010, 7 out of the 3 championships came outside the West, right? So Lakers had to face teams like the Suns, the Mavericks, the Jazz, Timberwolves, the Spurs on any given night, right? The Lakers dominated in a much, much tougher era, right? And let's admit, the only championship that Boston got in 2008, they had four superhumans on the team, right? So when they did win, they was basically better than anybody inside of the East, right? They didn't have teams that was somewhat close to them or even in a realm as them at all, right? So when I really look at it, man, when it comes to this Boston Celtics and Lakers thing, I just think the blaring thing is 1976. When real hoopers came inside the league, when the league actually became mixed, they stopped winning for a very long time. You know what I'm saying? They joined the party a little bit later in 2008, but for the last 16 years, they've been irrelevant.
All right. Go ahead and run that poll right now. If you're in the chat, what I need you to do is go over to the poll and exercise your vote. Who won this last topic? The Lakers versus the Celtics. Who is the greatest franchise of all time? These dudes both came up here and made compelling cases. Honestly, I wouldn't know who to go with, but you probably should know. Go with who your heart's telling you, but also go with who also made the more compelling point. Chat, I don't need you guys to be biased here. We don't need no biasness. And this is to everybody that's here live and everybody that's going to watch after the video. Go with who made the better points. Go with who made the more compelling argument. Go with who was more convincing. Go with who had the better stats, the better analytics. Go with who talked about the eye test. Go with overall who was just simply better. I'll see you guys in the chat. Salute to everybody in the chat. Make sure that you hit that like button. Slap that like button. Also, once again, follow your heart. Don't forget to do that. And subscribe if you haven't subscribed. And shout out to all of our new members and all of that good stuff. Fellas, how we feeling after 2 rounds?
Amazing. Feel good. I love competing.
How about you? Listen, there's no better competition than talking about Jason Tatum versus LeBron James and the Celtics versus the Lakers. I'll tell you that much.
Oh, yeah. That's how you start the night off right there.
Hell yeah.
You start the night off right there.
Yeah, sure. I could get with this. I easily see this being the championship of the PCL. So right. we getting a sneak peek of what we're going to see 7 weeks from now. But I don't know if we can do a Lakers versus Celtics. We might have to do something like, I don't know, the Blazers versus the Magic. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I just ran the poll again, and it looks like Dion won again pretty convincingly. He took 80% of the votes. So Dion got round 1 on the live vote, and then he got round 2 on the live vote too. But remember, it's not the live vote that counts. It's the overall vote that counts. So when you watch this afterwards, let us know who won both of these rounds. But here we go with round 3. Topic 3, round 1. We got Damian Lillard versus Kyrie Irving. Who is more clutch? Jack, you just went for the second round. So Dion, it is back on you to go first and make a compelling case on who you think is more clutch. You got it.
All right, so Dame versus Kyrie, this is not close. I'm so sad this is even a conversation. But let's talk about this season. Let's start with Dame off the rip. Dame put up from 30 feet in overtime to ice the game against the Kings this season. Dame was top 3 in clutch points this season with 139 points. But out of the top 3, including Curry, DeMar, and Dame had the best record of 23-14 in the clutch, right? So this is an off season for Dame. Let's talk about Trailblazers Dame, right? So Dame led in clutch points in 2020-21 season. Since 2012, Dame made 10 game winners in the last 5 seconds with the score within 5. This is first amongst all players inside the league right now. Dame, since his rookie season, has hit more clutch threes than anyone. A clutch three is a three hit within 5 minutes and within 5 points as well. This dude beats out Curry, LeBron, and obviously Kyrie Irving in that category. 9 times in NBA history, there has been a walk-off playoff buzzer beater. Dame has 2 of those. Only guy that matched Dame in walk-off buzzer beaters is Michael Jordan with 2. So they're tied with the most buzzer beaters to walk-off playoff in NBA history, right? And yeah, I'm talking about Dame in 2019 Game 5 versus OKC. I'm also talking about the classic game in 2014 Game 6 versus the Rockets. That basically made Dame as a clutch player he is today. Listen, Dame has shown nothing but clutchness his entire career, and honestly has no sign of slowing down either. So those are a couple little facts for you about Dame clutchness.
All right, we got our first round with Dame. It's on you, Jack. You got Kyrie. Talk to us.
So both of those buzzer beaters that you just mentioned from Damian Lillard happened to come in the first round. And I look at Kyrie Irving's game-winning 3-point shot in Game 7 of the NBA Finals over Stephen Curry as the most clutch shot in NBA history. And he also followed it up with something that nobody talks about, but it was arguably, it could have been the biggest poster dunk in the history of life that LeBron James, your guy, nearly throws down. I forget if it was on Draymond or somebody, but they get the foul. But in that moment, Kyrie Irving made an early play to make the play instead of kind of draining the clock more. He went early, took the risk, and made one of the best passes I've ever seen in clutch time. And leading up to that Kyrie Irving buzzer beater, not buzzer beater, Dame had the buzzer beaters. Kyrie Irving's game-winning 3 in Game 7. I was watching it back a few nights ago just to really feel it again because I'm a Steph guy. I love Steph and Curry, and that shot, witnessing it in real time and then watching the highlights again, it still haunts me to this day, but I grew a true appreciation for it because when I turned on the rerun, the highlights, it goes to about 4 minutes left in the game. Everyone's tired. The score is under 100 points each. Nobody could make a shot. Who was going to be the guy? And it was Kyrie Irving that basically hit the ballsiest shot in the history of basketball and beat the greatest team of all time in the 73-9 Warriors. And they were then forced to acquire Kevin Durant the following year and essentially ruin the NBA.
Ooh, Kyrie ruined the NBA. Big shots, big shots. Well, Dion, it's back on you. Round 2.
I'm happy that, you mentioned Kyrie Irving in the finals. I'm happy you mentioned Dame in the first round because outside of Kyrie Irving playing with LeBron James, he just played in the NBA finals. And honestly, this series that he just got done playing was honestly flat out embarrassing. 3 games this year we're talking about, 3 games he shot under 40%. 2 games he shot 0% from 3. He had another game he shot 17% from 3. This is supposed to be the guy you just got done mentioning about that's unstoppable, that's very clutch, and he can do it, get the job done, right? And it's crazy because before the NBA Finals, Kyrie Irving was leading the playoffs in clutch points. He led the entire playoff in clutch points, but he literally changed to a different guy inside the NBA Finals, right? And honestly, this is not the first time we've seen this type of act from Kyrie Irving. Let's talk about the Boston Celtics versus Brooklyn Nets. You are a Boston Celtics fan, so you should know exactly what series I'm talking about. Kyrie Irving drops 39 in Game 1, and then for Game 2 and 3, he disappears. In Game 2, he shoots 4 for 13 from the field, 30% from the field. And how about Game 3 when he goes 6 for 17, 35%, and 0 for 7 from 3 that same exact game? That's ugly. I mean, he followed with Game 4 and had a decent Game 4, but my point is we're accustomed to seeing Kyrie Irving do this in NBA history, right? I feel like a lot of Dallas Mavericks fans were looking for Kyrie Irving to step up this series. I told you guys a couple of weeks ago on the panel before the series started, I said Kyrie Irving doesn't have the goods. He's not going to be able to get it done without LeBron James, and that's exactly what happened. He shit the bed, literally.
I think when you look at Kyrie Irving versus Damian Lillard, yeah, Dame has the 30-footer over Kyrie. There's no doubt about that. But you could argue Kyrie Irving is the best player with the basketball, like the best. He's a magician with the ball. And if there's 10 seconds remaining on the clock and I need a guy to go make a play, regardless of if it's a 30-footer, a 10-foot layup, a one-handed lefty shot floater at the buzzer over the best player in the NBA and Nikola Jokic, to me, I think Kyrie Irving, what he does as a magician, trumps Damian Lillard's shooting ability in this who's more clutch, because it's not just about the shots. Maybe it is, and maybe it's about the buzzer beaters, but it's also about what do you do with 1 minute and 10 seconds left? What do you do in the clutchest moments, in the brightest lights? And I understand that, yeah, Kyrie Irving did not have a great NBA Finals, and he also didn't play well when you mentioned it was Celtics versus Nets. What's the common denominator in that one? He's playing against a really good team in the Boston Celtics, and he's got some nightmares because he used to play with them, and the fan base hates him and boos him every single time he gets the ball. I get all that. When you just take a step back and analyze the situation, to me, Kyrie Irving has been to championship after championship, and that has to say something. I get this isn't a who's a better player. I get this isn't who's won more, but winning has to speak to who's the more clutch player. And with Luka and LeBron carrying, it's been Kyrie as that clutch guy that they depend on.
I'm sorry, Jack. I got to mute you. You over the time. It's back on you, Dion, but your time will start whenever you decide to start.
Got it. So first off, the last topic I have today, it's been really fun. I have Kyrie Irving's availability. You can't be clutch if you're not available, right? Since 2019, Kyrie Irving hasn't played over 60 games. Kyrie's incapability to stay healthy cost the Cavs in 2015. LeBron James took the Cavs to Game 6 without Kyrie Irving. Kyrie Irving's available to stay healthy. Maybe we go to Game 7. Or how about the Boston Celtics series? You already know what I'm talking about. 2018, Kyrie Irving, the Boston Celtics, and LeBron James goes to Game 7. Kyrie Irving's injured. He's not there. He's not available to perform in Game 7, and they go on to lose to LeBron James. Listen, Kyrie needs to be on the court to be productive. He can't even be a clutch player if he's not available, right? And now, there's a couple things for Dame versus Kyrie. Dame versus Kyrie in closeout games, Dame averages 28 to Kyrie's 23. That includes the 50 bomb versus OKC that Dame had in a closeout game. Dame has a higher true shooting in closeout games than Kyrie. Dame led his team to the playoffs, unlike the guy like Kyrie has never done. Kyrie's a great Robin, like you said. That's fine. Dame is a top 5 clutchest player ever to ever exist in NBA history. Dame's top 5. You can't name 5 guys more clutch than Dame. He has all the stats, right? And I understand Kyrie hit one of the best shots in NBA history, but Dame has done it more and has done it more consistently over time. Listen, Dame has changed what a good shot is. Go ask Paul George. Paul George knows. Dame showed you what any shot's possible in the clutch to hit a shot, and anything's makeable when it comes to Damian Lillard.
Jack, topic 3, round 3. You got it whenever you want it.
You know, I hate to be repetitive about Kyrie's shot in Game 7 against Golden State, but it lives in my memory forever. This is something that Steph Curry will never get over. And I think Paul George, has he gotten over the Dame shot? Maybe not. Maybe he wanted to get up on it a little bit sooner, but it was a first-round matchup. This Kyrie Irving shot, the amount of weight it has on the history of basketball, you can't answer this question any differently than it's Kyrie Irving when you're asking who's more clutch. I get it. Damian Lillard is extremely clutch, but when you look at what Kyrie Irving has done, and I got caught off at my last point, but I was talking about how Kyrie's always been kind of the second option, right? You have LeBron James and Luka Doncic as the first option. In times, Kyrie Irving is the guy that's getting the ball. Actually, majority of the time, they're depending on Kyrie Irving late in games. Luka, so many times during this Dallas Maverick run that who the hell thought the Mavericks were going to get to the finals? I'm sure there's a decent amount of people out there, but it was consistently going to Kyrie Irving. Luka Doncic, the great player that he is, was giving up clutch time shots. Why? Because he has Kyrie Irving on his team. LeBron James, for so many years, was giving up clutch time shots. Why? Because Kyrie Irving is a better clutch time player than anybody in the history of the game. Period.
There you have it, y'all. We just had a very intense debate from these two guys. Hey, man, clap it up for these guys back at home. Clap it up for Dion from Ohio and Jack Cote, man. Hey, run the poll. We're going to see who won round 3. Once again, as you guys know, this is the live vote. If you are in the chat right now, these votes matter. So we need you guys to go ahead and put in your vote for who you think won. I said it once. I'm going to say it again. After this video, if you aren't watching live, make sure you put in your vote right now. This is the end of the battle. So this would be a good time for you just to comment. I got so-and-so, 2-1, 3-0, however you see it. Fellas, appreciate y'all for coming up here and rocking the stage. Y'all really came up here and did y'all thing for real. Like I knew you guys would. I knew this would be battle of the day. I knew it would. Now that this is over, I want to just give you guys the floor to speak your piece.
I got something to say. I feel like just hearing the 80-20. Listen, Dion, your deliveries were unbelievable. The statistics, I'm not a stats guy. Those things go right through one ear and out the other. I kind of just look at it as, what am I witnessing? But man, what a battle. To me, I think that was more of an anti-Celtic movement than saying Dion out-battled me.
Oh, man, we got some Celtics haters in the chat.
We got a lot to say. That's the whole world. It's Celtics versus all, but that's okay. It's respect.
Man, y'all listen, y'all deserve it. Don't try to be the wolf and then go behind closed doors and be the sheep. Something like, no, Celtics deserve every hate that comes their way.
Oh, damn.
Front runner up.
Bring it. Let's go.
Yes, I don't mess with Celtics. Hey, by the way, did y'all see Joel Embiid on the bench today? How do you guys feel about that? Yeah, Joel Embiid, on the bench as he deserves. You know what I'm saying? And another thing about it, I didn't get to tell you guys about this. Tatum sitting on the bench the other day is well deserved. You know what I'm saying? You have LeBron James and Kevin Durant, bro. He's not better than both of those guys. Not even close. You know what I'm saying? So, yes.
I brought that up.
Fellas, I gotta step in because we gotta get to the next debate. But hopefully, I see you guys on the panel sooner than later. As a matter of fact, you guys are both invited tomorrow or Thursday. Come pull up and we could get into this Tatum getting benched, then we can get into Joel getting benched and all of that good stuff. But Absolutely. As of right now,
fire Steve Kerr.
The poll came out and Dion actually won round 3-2, 57% of the votes to 42% of the votes for Jack. So salute to you, Dion. You took round 3-2 on the live vote. But once again, Jack, the live vote does not matter because after week 4, you could very well be the winner of this debate, depending on what the people say after this. But fellas, it was a pleasure having you up here. I will catch you guys next time. Next week, for those of you who don't know, Dion will be battling against Hayes in the first matchup of the week on Wednesday, and Jack will get a chance to put Chill in a coffin. So
you better, Jack. Get him. Come on.
All right, y'all. I'm gonna catch you guys next time.
All right,
next week.
Peace.
Yeah.
Didn't I tell y'all? I told y'all I was gonna be battle of the week. Y'all like them topics, huh? Yeah. Well, all right, we are on to the next battle. I got Casual versus Big Ox Bob. Y'all know the faces, y'all know the names, y'all know they debate tactics. But now we about to really get into it. These 3 guys got 3 good topics, and I can't wait to see how they decide to go about these topics and what angles they decide to take. But let me go ahead and run these topics off to you, and then I'm gonna get these guys up here. Chris Paul versus John Stockton. Who's the better point guard? 90s Bulls versus 2017 Warriors. Who will win in a 7-game series? And then we got these guys debating what was better, the 3-point boom or before the 3-point boom. But we're going to take a quick intermission and I'll get back to you guys.
Kentucky woman, she gets to know you, she goes to own you. Kentucky woman, she gets to know you, she goes to own you. happy woman. She gets to know you. She goes to own you. Kentucky woman. She gets to know you. She goes to own you.
Yes, sir. Let's get into it. I'm not gonna waste no time. It's time to get these brothers up here. Let me go ahead and bring up my man Casual.
Yo.
What's up? How you feeling?
Well, week 1 passed. I got my warm-up game out the way. I'm ready for Big Ox.
Okay. This week's gonna be a little bit easier for you, right?
More comfortable now. I
Okay.
did say, let me say this though. I did say last week on the panel, the Wednesday before the debate, I saw Ox when they were reading through the group. They were reading all the names. Hesitated when he got to my name. Said, quote, I'm easy work. Okay.
Ox, you shall see.
Okay.
Big, what's up, man? What it do, Big?
What up? What's good, Casual? What's good, Ron?
Nice costume, bro.
I said, hey, I sleep in these gloves, baby. Hey, I said everybody was easy work. Everybody was easy work, including you, no doubt.
You should bring brass knuckles next time.
I got brass knuckles right here.
Hmm?
I got brass knuckles. You see these?
Yeah, that looks like pillows, but okay. All
right, let's get into it.
Casual. I like
we gonna see whether they pillows or brass knuckles right now. Let's go ahead and get into it. Topic 1, fellas. Y'all know the topic. We got Chris Paul versus John Stockton. Casual, I got you going first in this debate. So your time will start when you start.
Okay, Chris Paul, he easily wipes John Stockton. I don't think this is a debate all time. I'm just going to do it for the purpose of this show. I rank players on 5 levels of criteria: longevity, peak, skill, accolades, and impact on winning. So let's go through them. Let's start with longevity. Johnny Stockton's calling card. What makes him an all-time great? John Stockton, to be fair, has great longevity. He plays more games than Chris Paul, and John Stockton played to an older age than Chris Paul. But did you know by next season, Chris Paul would actually play more seasons than Johnny Stockton? Peak, not even close. Chris Paul in 2008 clearly peaked higher than any John Stockton season. CP3 finished second in MVP in an era where LeBron and Kobe Bryant were going for 30 a game on 40 to 50 win teams. John Stockton would never dream about sniffing a top 3, let alone top 6 finish for MVP. Even if you give him the biggest nose, he couldn't sniff it. Skill. Chris Paul's a more skilled player. I think Chris Paul can do anything that John Stockton can do, but better. He's a more athletic, more modern day John Stockton. Better scorer, better shooter, better finisher, better rebounder, better defender, more athletic. And you can say what you want about the assists for John Stockton, but in big 2024, John Stockton passing, I don't have to say anything more. In accolades, Chris Paul clears there. More all-star appearances in the same season, 2 more all-NBA first teams, has way more all-NBA votes, 7-0 on all defensive first teams.
Chris Paul's off to a hot start. Big Ox, what do you got to say about John Stockton? It's on you.
This debate as far as on the court is actually kind of tough. You know what I mean? When you got Chris Paul, you got John Stockton. I can't disrespect Chris Paul and say that he's not the level of basketball player as John Stockton. Now, I wouldn't have just brought this up if Casual wouldn't have made me, right? But we're talking about longevity and durability. That's where Chris Paul gets wiped off the floor. He said the amount of games played. I'm talking about 1,504 for John Stockton in comparison to 1,272 by Chris Paul. You do the math on that yourself, Casual. I'm not going to do everything for you. Now, look, 6 out of 19 seasons for John Stockton. In 16 of those seasons, he played 82 games. In 16 seasons, John Stockton played 82 games. He played 50 games in 98-94. You know why, Casual? Because that was a lockout year. He played every single game for 16 seasons and then 50 in the lockout year. One season where he got hurt, he played 78 games. So you know what they say, right? The best ability is availability, durability. What is Chris Paul known for? Coming up lame in the playoffs, getting hurt when it really matters.
That is the biggest glaring issue for Chris Paul in comparison to John Stockton. It's really his availability to be there, and John Stockton being a complete Iron Man, a juggernaut. Look at those numbers again.
Uh-oh. Y'all, hey, the show has really started. Week 2 has officially kicked off. Let's go. We got round 2. Let's get into it, Casual.
Ox, you cooked yourself. More games. That's cool. More games with less accolades and worse stats. Okay, but I didn't say impact on winning in my first argument because I want to spend some time talking about it. Although he has 0 rings, so does John Stockton. I think Chris Paul has the most underrated impact on winning in NBA history because no matter where Chris Paul goes, his team wins. And it's not like he's a Kevin Durant going to a 73-9 team. Chris Paul goes to some historically losing franchises and instantly makes them winners. He gets drafted to the New Orleans Hornets, the most irrelevant franchise in NBA history. So irrelevant, they don't even exist anymore. And he constantly made them a 50-win team into the playoffs, most relevant they ever were. Then he goes to the Clippers, made the Clippers from one of the most irrelevant teams in NBA history to one of the most relevant and most winning in the 2010s, made them 50-win teams year after year. And then he goes to Houston. The furthest the James Harden Rockets ever went was with Chris Paul. Chris Paul doesn't get hurt. They probably go on to win the finals. Then he goes to OKC. No one and their mother gave OKC more than a 1% chance to make the playoffs that year. Chris Paul leads them to a tough first-round series in 7 games. And then he goes to Phoenix, who hadn't made the playoffs for more than a decade. And then the very first year, they go to the first title game they've ever been in 30 years. Then they win 60 games the next year. The difference between Stockton is he's been always the number 2 on his team and was on the same team his whole career.
Compelling points. Big Ox, it's your turn to make a compelling point. Go ahead, brother.
Well, that's fire. First, you came with longevity in things like that, amount of games when Chris Paul has played over 200 more than when John Stockton played over 200 more than Chris Paul. So cooked you on that. Now we're going to talk about impact on winning, right? Impact on winning. Let's talk about generating offense, right? I got a number for you. 15,806. That's John Stockton's total amount of assists. That's 3,912 more than Chris Paul. Let's just imagine, just for the sake of this argument, that those are all layups. All 3,912 of those assists are all layups. That's still 7,824 more points generated by John Stockton's offense, right? I think generating offense to that level is a direct impact on winning. So you can't tell me that John Stockton's game did not impact winning in comparison to Chris Paul. That's just a bold-faced lie. Chat, I'm happy that I got to cook that point. Appreciate you, Casual. Now, here's another thing. He also has 207 more offensive rebounds than Chris Paul at the point guard position. What does that mean? I know you may not understand this, but that means more possessions, more generated offense, more impact on winning the game. 8 seasons, he averaged over 12 assists. 8 seasons, he averaged more than 12 assists. Chris Paul never did that once. Let's really talk about impact on winning and generating offense here, Casual. Let's do that.
Let's talk about it, Casual. Round 3 of this topic. It's on you. Let's talk about it.
Well, I appreciate you bringing up all those longevity stats where he's just constantly dumping the ball into the post to Karl Malone. I'm glad that means John Stockton got it. And when I rank players, I said I have 5 levels of criteria. For you to be higher all time, all you really got to do is win 3 or 4 of those 5. And Chris Paul wins at least 3. You can have longevity, even if you want to have impact on winning, which I can't agree with, because John Stockton for his entire career has been the number 2, and we can't measure John Stockton's impact on winning at a larger scale like we can with Chris Paul, because he's always been on the number 2 on the same team behind the same player, whereas Chris Paul has been on different teams, different situations, and actually been the number 1 on some teams. So it's better to see Chris Paul's impact on winning. But you still didn't bring up peak. You're always bringing up passing, but passing doesn't necessarily mean he's a better player, because Chris Paul still has the assist titles. What about scoring, where Chris Paul averages, I think, 4 or 5 more career points per game? Don't even look at the playoff points per game. Chris Paul has runs where he's got 21 to 25 points per game. Does John Stockton even come close to that? John Stockton has playoff runs where he has 11 points. 11 points. That sounds like a role player to me. We're talking about all-time stuff, not role players. We're talking about stars here. At the end of the day, I rank players on longevity, peak, skill, accolades on impact, on winning. Chris Paul easily has skill. Chris Paul is top 35 on all-time MVP shares. John Stockton isn't even close to top 100. This isn't a debate.
Ox. Round 3 topic 1. You get a chance to actually make this a debate. Go ahead.
All-time MVP shares? Like what does that even mean, guys? Well, maybe I'm done. All-time MVP shares and never won the MVP really means like nothing, right? And for a guy that you keep saying was just a number 2, he didn't do anything, right? He was a number 2 compared to a number 1. It's really sad because if we go back to what you just said, how much more points he has, right? Once again, I point out that the numbers are 100% in John Stockton's favor. I think Chris Paul had, 2,500, 3,500 more points than John Stockton or something like that. And the point I just told you in the second round and the points generated from John Stockton clears Chris Paul. So if you're going to keep going back to the numbers, you need to go back to numbers that are in your favor. Those numbers are not in your favor, Casual. If for a number 1 that you say Chris Paul is, to be getting his ass kicked in this number debate by a number 2 really furthermore shows me how much better John Stockton is than Chris Paul. It shows you how much more of an impact on his team he's having than Chris Paul, even at him being a number 1. On top of that, we didn't talk about defense. I would say that John Stockton was a better defender than Chris Paul. Not by much. Respect Chris Paul's defense for sure. But this is another thing because you brought up all these 5 pillars and you didn't once bring up defense in that, right? So I'm going to bring it up. Chris Paul, once again, was known for choking, known for not carrying his squad to as far as they should have gone. He's known for that. That's Chris Paul. That's Chris Paul's calling card. John Stockton is known for showing up and being there.
All right, y'all. That is topic 1. Chris Paul versus John Stockton. Let's run the poll, run the numbers. Yeah, Casual, what is that?
That was just Chris Paul. That was Chris Paul's 7 all defensive first teams to John Stockton's 0. I just wanted to say
okay. Run the poll right now. You guys go and vote. Everybody in here, all 332 of you, and make sure you slap that like button while you are at it. Don't vote without liking the video. That was a fire ass first round, fellas. Y'all came with it. Okay. Let me go ahead and put you guys' group up. For those of you who don't know which group this is group 3.
This is the AFC North. I said last week. This is a comp group. Big Ox is a comp player.
Group 3 with OGDABEAST, Elder Rufus, Casual, and Big Ox. Last week we seen Big Ox battle OGDABEAST, and we seen Casual battle Elder Rufus. Now we got Big Ox. And we got Casual battling. And next, yes, you guessed it, OGDABEAST and Elder Rufus will be battling. But this is what we got at the moment. Y'all got 30 more seconds to go vote. So go ahead and do that. The next
don't vote for John Stockton and Chris Paul. Vote for Ox and Casual.
Facts.
Vote for the better argument. It's tough though. People just have like predetermined like who they think's better, who they think's not better. So it's hard to like really just listen to someone's argument rather than who you think coming in was better.
Well, see, the thing about it is the live chat tends to be kind of biased. But you guys that are going to watch the video after this live chat, you guys tend to have less biasness and see things more from a balanced standpoint. So make sure that you vote afterwards and let us know who won this round. All right, fellas. It looks like Casual cleaned up 75% of the votes for round 1. So, Casual, you got the live vote for round 1. Once again, that is not the end all be all. All right, we are moving on to topic 2. Let's get into it. We have the 90s Bulls versus the 2017 Golden State Warriors. This should be a good one. Casual, you went first in the first round with the first topic. So, Big Ox, you are going to go first in the second round with the first topic. Your time will start whenever you decide to.
Okay, no doubt. So I'm not doing the 90s Bulls versus the 2017 Warriors. I'm doing the 95-96 Bulls versus the 2017 Warriors. We don't need to go through a whole decade as if this team is inferior to the Warriors or something. Okay, we're talking, and once again, this isn't necessarily about who's better. This is about who wins a 7-game series. right? 7-game series are all about matchups, correct? And now that we're talking about two different eras. So let's not do too much number play. Let's just talk straight hoop. Let's talk matchups, right? Let's talk about the Kevin Durant, right? Who better to guard Kevin Durant than Scottie Pippen? Who better to play that smothering style of defense on these Golden State Warriors than these Bulls, right? We got length. Ron Harper, Michael Jordan, Scottie Pippen, Dennis Rodman, Tony Kukoc. And those are all wing defenders with the respect of Dennis Rodman as well. I feel like when you have a team that predominantly goes off of shooting, right? When you have off nights, you lose basketball games. When you have smothering defenders all over your shooters, chasing them 94 feet, that makes it really hard to be a consistent shooting team, no matter how good you are. When you got 6'9" guys guarding guys that are 6'3", that's hard. Now, Kevin Durant is a difference maker, but like I pointed out, you got Scottie Pippen for him. You got Dennis Rodman meeting him in the mid-range. I think the defense of this Bulls team really slows that team down.
Casual is back on you.
I'm going to talk about the matchup in my next round. For this round, I'm just going to talk about how great these teams are itself. I think this 2017 Warriors team is the greatest team basketball has ever seen. The Bulls team, I think, is the second greatest. But when we talk about the greatest, it's the Warriors. Why? Because it's the greatest collection of talent the game has ever seen. 4 All-NBA guys, all on one team. 4 Hall of Famers, all on one team. 2 of those guys were 2 of the 3 best players in the game. 2 of those guys were the last 2 MVPs. 2 of those guys could be the best player in the world at any given moment. 3 of those guys could shoot 40% from beyond the arc. 2 of those guys were all defense. One of them was defensive player of the year. They had a finals MVP off the bench. They had one of the greatest coaches ever who happened to be a member of the Chicago Bulls. And they also had a well-rounded, efficient bench that can also play defense and shoot quality shots at the end of it. Your 96 Bulls won 72 games, right, Ox? At the time, it was the most wins in the history of the NBA. 20 years later, the 2016 Warriors eclipsed them. You think it might be a little OP if the team that surpassed your team in wins adds a top 15 player to ever play the game 2 years removed from an MVP? I think that's a little OP if you ask me. So a team that won more games in a regular season than your team adds Kevin Durant, and if Kyrie and LeBron don't go desperation mode in Game 4 of the NBA Finals, they go 16-0 throughout the playoffs, something that no one's ever really done.
Okay. Big Ox, round 2.
Objection, Casual. There's no point in bringing up the 2016 team. We're talking about 2017 team. This team might have added Kevin Durant and still didn't win more than 72 games. So I'm not really sure what was your point of bringing that squad up, right? So once again, and another thing, you bring up coaching with Steve Kerr against Phil Jackson. You lost me there, buddy. I can't see your point there. But let's get back to this hoop talk, right? I know that we can't bring that team here and actually play them. So I'm just imagining how I would play this team. We got Dennis Rodman. I think he clears Draymond Green. He's gonna get rebounds. He's as good of a defender as Draymond as well. I feel like this team plays the style of defense, 94 feet. We got Ron Harper. We got him pressuring Steph Curry all over the floor. We got Michael Jordan pressuring Steph Curry and Klay Thompson all over the floor. The defense played by this Chicago Bulls is something I want to hamper in on because that is what slows this team down. There's nothing that these guys can do on the other end against Michael Jordan. Who is going to guard Michael Jordan? Klay Thompson? Get out of here. Please, don't even try that. They are cooked on that end. This team has everything in their bag they need to beat this Warriors team. You can't name a better a team suited to play against this squad with all the length on the floor, the rebounding on the floor, the speed of this defense, complete 94 feet of smothering.
Casual, you got it whenever you're ready.
I think the 2017 Warriors win this matchup in 6 games. I'll give the Bulls 6 because I do think they're the second greatest team ever. They have Michael Jordan. They have Hall of Famers. They have Phil Jackson. But they're not winning this matchup. And it's the same argument that I used for the 2016 Warriors over the 95 Rockets, because how the hell can you sit up here and say in front of hundreds of people that the Bulls will have a plan to beat the Warriors when no team in 96 ever could dream of a team like Golden State existing. What the 2017 KD Warriors taught us is that the only way you have a chance of coming close to beat them is if you beat a team like them. The Houston Rockets in 2018 gave the Warriors the best run for their money because they had a team like them. Small ball, jack up a lot of threes. They can play versatile lineups and also put 30 to 40 threes together. The Bulls, they can't run lineups like that. What kind of death lineup are the Bulls putting together? That 96 Bulls team shot about 10 to 15 threes a game. Max, coming off a shortened three-point line. Now be at a normal three-point line against a team that's putting up 40 threes a game. You're going to get shot out the gym. Yes, you have Michael Jordan, but this team has Kevin Durant, a guy who averaged 35 points per game in the 2017 NBA Finals, one of the greatest scorers ever, 4 scoring champs. He can cancel out Michael Jordan by a little bit. And once Jordan's out the picture, who's going point for point with Steph Curry? Sure as hell's not Ron Harper. Who's going shot for shot with Klay Thompson from behind the arc? Scottie Pippen? Draymond Green, you said Dennis Rodman's better. Draymond Green, check the numbers, is a much better offensive player than Dennis Rodman.
Let's check the numbers. It's back on you.
Well, we don't need to check the numbers because that's just such a casual take by you, casual. It's not about shot for shot. We're not going to go out there and just shoot it out with the Warriors. See, that's the problem. You're thinking like Steve Kerr. I'm thinking like Phil Jackson, a guy that's 30 times the coach Steve Kerr could ever dream of being, right? You don't go out there and shoot it out with the Splash Bros and Kevin Durant. You do what I've been trying to tell you. I've been trying to convince you these last 2 rounds. You play defense. You play defense. There is nobody on that team that can guard Michael Jordan. You talk about we've never seen this in the 90s. That Warriors team never seen Michael Jordan. So you cooked yourself with that one. Well, who have they ever seen close to Michael Jordan? Nobody, casual, nobody. So we're not going to go out here, oh, I'm going to outscore him, I'm going to outscore him. No, we're going to play shutdown, stifling 94 feet of defense. The 2021-22 Celtics team showed us how to guard Kevin Durant. And they did that with Al Horford and Jason Tatum. Are you telling me that Tony Kukoc, Dennis Rodman, and Scottie Pippen can't do what Jason Tatum and Al Horford did? I think you're drunk, casual. I think you're drunk to say that. These guys are Dennis Rodman far more physical than Jason Tatum, far more physical than Al Horford. If they can do it to Kevin Durant, then that 96 Bulls team can do the same thing because that 96 Bulls team is 2 times the defensive team than that Celtics team was. Once again, it's casual to think they're going to try to shoot it out with these guys. No, you play defense. And if anybody can guard Kevin Durant in the history of basketball, it's Scottie Pippen.
Casual.
All right, let me drink my water real quick. To sober up because he said I'm drunk. You said they didn't see Michael Jordan. Hey Ox, 4 straight years they play LeBron James in the finals. I don't think they give a damn about Michael Jordan. And who cares if Michael Jordan is going to get his? I don't care if Klay's guarding Michael Jordan. MJ can get 50. And you know what, Ox? I'll let you have Scottie Pippen get 30 alongside MJ's 50 on great shooting splits. And it wouldn't matter. Newsflash, Ox, the Bulls still lose. You know how I know that? Because in the 2017 NBA Finals, let's take a trip to Game 3. Kyrie and LeBron at home combined for 80 points and still lost to the Golden State Warriors because they weren't talented enough team for team, shooter for shooter, defender for defender. You keep bringing up the Bulls defense. I think the Bulls have a hell of a defense. Their athletes will translate to modern day to an extent because how good can a 90s defense be on a 2017 Warriors offensive floor? Because how do you know they can be able to guard them when you're watching them on 1995 film? You're watching them guard 95 offenses. You're not watching the Bulls guard 2017 Warriors offenses. So how do you know they're just going to lock them up? Again, the Warriors are the greatest collection of talent the game has ever seen. And offensively, you keep saying, oh, they don't have to outshoot them. Yes, they do. You know how I know that? Because we saw years and years of teams, if they don't come close to the Warriors on 3-point attempts, they're going to lose. That's the entire reason why teams made arms races.
All right, fellas. All right. Topic 2 is now in the books. Let's go ahead and run this poll. You guys have 1 minute and 30 seconds to go cast your votes. If you are in the chat and you're not voting, what are you doing? If you are in the chat and you're not liking the video, what are you doing? Keep going, Ron. If you are in the chat and you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you doing? Keep going, Ron. If you are in the chat and you aren't a member, what are you doing? We got a minute left. Go get your votes in. Another reminder, if you are watching the video, the live vote matters, but what matters even more is the votes that happen when the video is not live. Comment on the video and let us know who you think is winning these rounds. 45 seconds left. Fellas, that was a hot topic. That was a good debate. Two of the best teams of all times. Y'all came up and y'all showed out both of these first two topics. Appreciate y'all for doing what y'all do best. Now we're moving on to topic 3. This may be a little confusing to you guys. It's ironic we were just talking about the Splash Bros because this is what topic 3 is kind of going to be surrounded about. Obviously, it was a 3-point boom with Steph Curry, Klay Thompson, and guys like Damian Lillard, Kevin Durant. The 3-point line became a prevalent part of the NBA game. So it was a boom where people started shooting more threes. Now we are going to talk about whether that boom was better for the game or not. Was the game better after the boom or before the boom? Was the boom better for the game or was it not? As of right now, the votes just concluded, and it looks like Casual took 60% of the round 2 votes on the live poll. But remember, the live poll isn't the end-all be-all. Let's get into round 3 or topic 3. Round 1 has the introduction of the 3-point line changed the game. Was the 3-point boom better for the game? Big Ox, you went first last round, so Casual, it's on you to go first this round.
Well, as someone who grew up playing basketball right when the 3-point boom started, I will state my bias right now. This is the era I grew up in. So I'm going to state it now before Ox maybe brings it up or someone might think this is my era. So I'm going to tackle this as unbiased as possible. I think the 3-point boom was better for basketball than previous eras because I think basketball, the 3-point boom has changed in a good way. The strategic plays of basketball in skill. I think basketball today is more strategic in a good way. Teams have to get more creative on how they run their offense, who they put on the floor, how they defend in open space, how they build their roster, who's good and who's not, how they evaluate talent. The 3-point boom has made the game faster. People are taking more efficient shots per analytics, which I think is better for the game. And I think the 3-point boom has oversaw, although I think basketball, since we had decades and decades, I think it was on the trajectory of us ending up in a more skilled era, accelerated the amount of skill, not just in the NBA, but around the world. The 3-point era is asking people to be more skilled, no more specialists. All those limited players that were superstars and Hall of Famers in the 70s could not exist today because everyone basically, unless you're super dominant in one area, you have to be able to shoot the basketball. And it asks for it defensively because you have to be able to defend in open space. It was easier to defend back then. It was easier to get by without shooting back then. But now, today, as we see, just load up any rosters, you see more talented players than it used to be.
All right, Ox, you got it.
So the 3-point boom has not only been bad for basketball, it's actually completely ruined basketball. It's done nothing but make basketball a circus, a clown show, and a laughable thing that we once used to love. Honestly, you can see where the 3-point shot has taken all the skill out of basketball. It's made people that are not good basketball players able to be on basketball teams. It's made it to where that's all you rely on. Nobody wants to set good screens. Nobody wants to attack the basket. It's just run around like a chicken with your head cut off, dribbling, passing, and just chuck up threes. That's what basketball has turned into. They've turned this into a mockery that only casuals would like to watch, a mockery that only casuals would like to play. I know it's hard to agree with because you have to know and love the real true sport of basketball. I have a prime example for you right here. Yesterday, we had a tie ball game in the Olympics, Japan versus France. And you know what Japan does? They stand around, he dribble, wasting all the time off the clock, and chucks up a three. Without that, if there was no 3-point line, nothing like that would have ever happened. Instead, they would have got a better shot, went to the rim, and they would have won the game. The 3-point line ruined Japan's chances in the Olympics yesterday.
Sadly, Japan, I feel bad for you. Casual, it's back on you. Round 2 of this topic. Go ahead.
Dude, I'm getting like PTSD, like I'm sitting at the Thanksgiving dinner table and like my old uncle or grandpa is telling me my era was better than your era. Like, what? Saying that this era is a clown show, I get, and you said no one goes to the basket anymore. These are just lies. Let's get these myths out the way. Just because everyone's nostalgic mid-range jumper is not as prevalent as it used to, doesn't mean we're going to the basket. You check the numbers, still, majority of NBA field goals, no matter who it was, the Warriors, this year's Celtics that jack up 43s, majority teams still get their field goals from two-pointers. They're just layups and dunks. Shots today are layups and dunks in the paint or three-pointers. Why? Because the mid-range area, three-point boom has told us it's not an efficient shot at all. Why are we taking those? It's a shot that takes a lot of effort, but get as much effort as a three-pointer, but with one less point. And it's not completely gone. The best players are still taking mid-ranges, by the way. Jokic, SGA, Kawhi, LeBron. It's just overall, like, role players shouldn't be shooting mid-ranges. Like, if you go back to 2004, you were alive. I was playing with Legos, wasn't really, watching that finals. 2004 NBA finals. You got role players shooting two-pointers that were so long that their foot is halfway on the three-point line. Why will we do that? But analytics are telling us now, let's just take a foot or two back, take a slightly more energy-taxing shot for one more point. It's more efficient for the game, and it adds up a lot on the scoreboard. There's no point to be shooting.
Yo, casual.
Oh, there we go. I'm back. Sorry, I froze.
All right, it's all good. Perfect timing. You froze at the end of your round. All right, Big Ox, it's back on you. Round 2. You got it.
What the three-point line has done is allowed analytics to ruin a beautiful game. What the three-point line has done is allowed geeks and dweebs that have never touched the basketball to think they know what's going on the hardwood. When in all actuality, casual, they have no idea. That's what it's done. It's all about the money. It's all about capitalism. As a matter of fact, I equate this to capitalism. The middle class is gone. The middle class is the mid-range. That's what that is. The middle class is the mid-range, and it's getting slowly squeezed out of America. And you know why? Because of numbers and money. It's ruining the game, okay? What you're supposed to do in basketball, guys, we're supposed to take the best shot available. The best shot. We don't have time for people dribbling. We don't have time for people dribbling around the court and just begging for a true shooting numbers and things like that. You're supposed to shoot the best shot that's available, whether it's a layup, whether it's a 15-footer, a 17-footer, a 19-footer, or a three-ball. That's what you do in basketball. You don't have time to be running around thinking about numbers only in basketball. That ruins the sport. That ruins the purity of it. There's no more plays set hardly. It's just dribble to the lane. If you don't got a layup, you kick it to the three-point. You dribble out again. It's what did Kobe call it? Accidental basketball, consequential basketball, something like that. That's what it is. There is no real basketball going anymore because the three-pointer has ruined it.
All right, there you go. I know Casual has one more round.
What's going on around here?
I mean, if Casual can't finish you off, then I will.
Let's get it.
He's hold on. He said he's lagging right now, so we're gonna try to get Casual back up here for round 3. If not, we're just gonna have to judge this off 2 rounds, Big Ox. I hope you did enough, Casual. I hope you did enough. Here he goes. All right, y'all just be patient. Y'all relax. He's coming. All right.
Ron, what did you do?
Hopefully you guys can see me. I was just lagging like crazy. L McDonald's Wi-Fi. Sorry.
All right, here we go.
No, we got you.
Round 3. Casual. Start whenever you're ready.
Hopefully I'm still not lagging and you guys can hear me because my screen's completely frozen, but let's see how I do this. All I remember from Ox's take was that he was talking about how analytics and the three-point boom has just brought in a bunch of nerds to the game. Whatever. I also want to bring in the business aspect to basketball. In any sport, offense sells. Offense is better for the product itself. And I think what the three-point boom has done is add an extra special part about the game, a spectacle. It's the 3-point bomb when Curry came in and all the splash bros. It made for must-see TV. What it's also done strategically, opening up the floor with all the shooters, has allowed more open lanes to get to the basket and allowed more points on the board and faster-paced offense. And we know anything about sports, pace and offense sells. And that's what is happening in basketball. I have no idea what the timer says. Honestly, I'm just going to throw this last argument because I'm just lagging all over the place. I have no idea what the timer says. But again, overall, I think the 3-point boom has made basketball a faster-paced sport, and we're taking more efficient shots. There should be no reason why we are taking mid-range jump shots, all these pull-ups, all these fadeaways from the elbow, long twos where your toe is on the 3-point line. They're irrelevant shots. They're inefficient. And I think basketball today is a lot smarter than it used to be in 2005. And I think we're in a good spot, and players are more skilled because of it, because they're being taught a lot more things.
All right, there we go. Ox, it's back on you.
See, that's what I'm saying. This has people's brains fried by basketball. How are those irrelevant shots? If it's an open shot, it's a good shot. It's the first open shot. That is a great shot in basketball. This is what I'm saying. These analytics, these numbers, all these 3-point merchants has ruined not only the actual game on the court, but talking about the game off the court. You know what I mean? It's turned into just a money game where we got to do whatever we can do to fill the seats up. All money ain't good money, Casual. It's not about the business. We're talking about the purity, the sanctity of a beautiful game, a beautiful sport that once was, that we are losing. We're losing basketball. If you go to the park, if you go to these gyms, you see these kids. You go to the YMCA right now. Go to 24-Hour Fitness right now. Go to LA Fitness right now. You're going to see kids that can't even hardly dribble, running around just throwing up shots. They don't even know how to play basketball anymore. They're not learning the fundamentals. They're not going through drills. They can't dribble with their head up. All they can do is run around and shoot 30-foot threes because they all think they're going to be Steph Curry. And when I tell you only about 1 or 2% of those kids are going to be Steph Curry, they're wasting their lives, Casual, wasting their time. This is terrible for the sport. Terrible for the sport. It might be good for the owners. It might be good for the money you get. I'm not going to sit here capping for billionaires today. I'm going to tell you the truth. I'm going to tell you the truth, Casual. I'm going to say what they are afraid to say. The 3-point line is ruining basketball. Not the NBA. It's ruining basketball all around. 100%.
Damn, Ox is basically saying L 3-point line. Well, put up the polls. Let's run it, and let's see what the fans actually think about this. We got Casual arguing that the 3-point line was one of the best things that has happened to basketball. And we got Ox, on the other hand, saying that the 3-point line is ruining basketball and ruining kids' lives. Damn, that has to be crazy if it's ruining
100%.
kids' lives.
I'm sad, bro. I couldn't hear half of Ox's argument. Seriously, I was lagging. It's not like a troll or anything. I literally, Ox was just glitching on my screen. I feel bad.
Go back and watch the Casual.
I'm going to rewatch this. I'm going to rewatch this.
I just got done cooking.
You're in my division.
You need to hear
that. Looks like Casual froze again. What I do to Casual? Oh, I flew to Ohio and I hacked his internet.
Yeah, bro. I'm cooked. I don't know what happened. I have like elite Wi-Fi too. I have really good internet. My mom pays for the best package, and here I am glitching all over the screen.
Man, sorry that happened, guys. But you did good today, fam. You really did.
Yes, sir, bro. Heavyweight.
Appreciate the debate.
This is a matchup that when the tournament's over, when we head in the playoffs, this is on the highlight reel. It's one of them.
No, that's
I appreciate the fire debate, fam. No doubt.
Mm-hmm.
No, this really.
I'm not mad at you for cooking either. I'm happy for you.
All I'm gonna say, I saw the preseason poll and that panel episode last week. They gave me a 4% chance to win this group. 4%. Chat, 4%. I'm like Chris Paul percent to make the playoffs in OKC. They gave me a 4%.
And now you 2-0, Casual.
We'll see. I'm not gonna influence that.
All right, here we go. The poll just came in, and it looks like Casual, you won again. You took 54% of the vote. So, Casual, you did take round 3 as well. But once again, I repeat yet again, the live vote is not the end-all, be-all. You have 4 weeks to cast your vote. Go back and watch this and say who won this battle, and we will tally those up at the end of the regular season, and that will determine the seeding for all 16 contestants going into the playoffs. Fellas, appreciate you for coming up here and holding it down. Do you have any words on the way out?
I'll see you again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Shout out to Big Ox Bob.
Casual. We'll catch you on the panel real soon.
Yes, sir.
See you on the graveyard shift.
That boy ain't really a casual, huh? He throwing y'all off with that casual name tag shit. Hey, check him out. All right, y'all. We about to get into this last matchup of the day. This is personally my favorite matchup of the day because I know these two dudes are gonna come up here and really talk ball and get down to the facts of these arguments. We got OG the Beast and we got my man Elder Rufus for our third matchup of the day. They got 3 topics. I'll go ahead and run these topics off to you right quick. We got the 80 Celtics versus the 2010 Heat. Yes, the Heatles. Who wins in a 7-game series? That's the first topic. Can't wait for that. Then we got the hand-checking rule and when it was banned. Was the hand-checking rule better for basketball or was it not better for basketball? We'll get into that. And then last but not least, we're going to talk about how would prime Bill Russell fare in today's NBA. Those are the 3 topics we got. But before we get into those, we're going to go on a quick intermission. I'll catch y'all in a second.
Kentucky woman, she gets to know you. She goes to own you. Kentucky woman, she gets to know you. She goes to own you. Kentucky woman, she gets to know you. She goes to own you. Kentucky woman, she gets to know you. She goes to own you.
This is what all the marbles is for right here. This PCL belt and $1,000 cash prize. The winner of this whole PCL thing will get that. And I got 2 dudes coming up here right now that I believe have a legitimate shot at running the table and getting this very here belt and winning that $1,000 cash prize. So with no further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring these guys up. I got my man OG the Beast. How you feeling today, player?
I'm feeling mighty well. You already know where I'm at. You already know how we get down. Shout out to everybody. Hey, y'all been putting on the show, man. Shout out to everybody. Y'all doing a hell of a job up here.
For sure. Appreciate that. We're looking forward to you putting on the show today too. You showed out last week. I'm expecting the same thing this week.
Always. You already know.
Elder Rufus, what's going on, man? How you feeling? Elder, you muted.
My bad. I'm good, man. Y'all doing all right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if you guys do know. I don't know if you guys know, but this is really a heavyweight bout right here.
Oh yeah.
Like
No
this
doubt.
gonna be one of them ones.
Oh yeah.
No doubt about it. No doubt about it.
Let's get into it. We don't got no more talking to do. We gonna get straight to the topics. All right, let's tip it off. The first topic that we got in this debate is the 80 Celtics versus the 2010 Heatles. I got Elder Rufus going first. So, Elder, your time will start whenever you start.
Okay, all right, let's get after it. I like the 80 Celtics to beat the 2010 Heatles. I think a lot about this because there was a lot of similarities between them. Their runs were very, very similar. The type of talent that they beat was very, very similar. The players that they had on their team were very, very similar. I mean, some would have LeBron James as the best small forward of all time. Some got Larry Bird as the best small forward of all time. You see what I'm saying? I know that front line was just formidable for Boston, but offense is what sells tickets and defense is what wins championships. And when I do the comparison between these two teams, the defense of Boston is not even it's superior to the defense of what the Heatles would have been at that time. I also want to give them an edge because of their sustained excellence. They actually ran this through the whole 80s. It wasn't a 4-year flash in the pants like the Heatles was. They ended up winning 3 chips in the 80s. And that everybody knows that's the super team era that they went through. So I personally believe that era was way tougher. And by most pundits, the 80s was the toughest era of basketball. So 2010 was a good era, but it wasn't as tough as the 80s. So that's what I want to get in here right now for my first round. I'll save a little bit more for my next. But that's one of the number one things is the defense on the Boston side. I think it would. And you got to look at it, too. I know it's harder today to view older players playing new style. It's tough.
Elder Rufus starting off with a strong point in his first round. OG the Beast, it's on you right now.
Now, look, I know it's real cliche to hate on the 80s and the 90s. I'm not one of those guys. I'm really big on what the 80s and the 90s basketball did for today's game, especially. These guys set the precedent for what you see now. But I hear you guys mention the Heatles. From what I was seeing on the docu, it said 2010's Miami Heat versus the 80s Boston Celtics. So you got the decade, I got the decade. What are we talking about Heatles for? Yeah, they were a part of that decade, but we had an extended run with Hassan Whiteside, Dwayne Wade on the back end. We also had Jimmy Butler on the back end as well. Boston went to 5 NBA championships in their run in the 80s, and the Miami Heat went to 5 NBA championships. Boston got 3. Miami Heat got 2 out of the deal, right? We saw what LeBron James led Miami Heat did. In their 4-year stretch consecutively, they went to 4 straight NBA finals and won 2 of them. Now, I'm sitting here looking at it from a lineup standpoint. I don't know what y'all talking about on this panel. Lineup? Let me create you a lineup. I'm the lineup king. So if we talking the 2010's Miami Heat tenure, coached by Spo, who y'all had? Bill Fitch during that run? KC Jones? It's not going to match up. Now, give me LeBron James at the point. Give me Dwayne Wade at the 2. Give me Jimmy Butler at the 3. Give me Chris Bosh at the 4. Give me Bam Adebayo at the 5. You say we got no shooting in that lineup? Duncan Robinson, we got Mike Miller, we got Tyler Hero, we got Ray Allen, we got Hassan Whiteside, who was a dog when he played with Dwayne Wade and those boys in the late 2010s. Listen, man, it's more than just the Heatles. Trust me, and I'm only just beginning.
You got it, Elder.
All right. For clarity's sake, I think we want to make sure we're talking about the 2010 Heat, meaning 2010 through 2019. We're talking about the 80 Celtics from 80 to the Heat didn't win 3 championships from 2010 to 2019. They only won 2. The other one that they won was in 2006. So that don't count. I wasn't trying to mix these teams and give a hypothetical of what these teams could have looked like. I went by what the actual teams in those decades did. And the Boston Celtics had a dominant decade where they went to the finals 5 times and they won 3 out of 5. And the only losses that they had was to the Los Angeles Lakers, the team that was just ultimately better than them with more stars and more impact. Other than that, they destroyed everybody. And then Boston never lost, ever lost to an inferior team like the Heatles did or the Heat did when they lost to the Dallas Mavericks with 1 superstar, no other all-stars, and got embarrassed. That was an embarrassing final. There was never an embarrassing final for Larry Bird. Never an embarrassing final. When he lost to a superior opponent like the Los Angeles Lakers with Magic Johnson and all those guys. Nobody else could beat them. Miami got a young team, right, in OKC. They beat those guys. Same thing happened when they played, when the Rockets played, when the Rockets was a young team. They got beat, though. See, we don't lose to inferior competition the Celtics did.
Back to you, OG.
I'm not buying the fact that we taking this individually, annually, year by year by year by year. I want to talk about the Miami Heat as a whole collectively. I want to put everything together. See, you want to use that as your reference point because you have a dynasty on your hands. Robert Parrish, Kevin McHale, and these boys played together for their entire careers throughout the 80s. We don't have that luxury over here in Miami. So I want to combine everything. If we're going to talk about Miami, let's talk about Miami. You said I brought up 2006. I did not say that. I brought up the fact that they went to 5 NBA championships in that decade, if you count in 2020 as well. I said Miami Heat won 2 in that decade. I said Miami won 2 in that decade, and Boston won 3. I thought I was very, very, very clear about that. But I want to talk about the defensive lineup, and I want you to construct the lineup as well, if you can do so off the top of your head, because you don't seem to be prepared as I am. So I constructed a 10-man lineup full of Miami Heat players from that decade. And I told you, LeBron James at the 1, D Wade at the 2, Jimmy Butler at the 3, Bosh at the 4, and Bam Adebayo at the 5. Hassan Whiteside coming off the bench for him, another paint protector, a guy that averaged 17 and 14, led the league in rebounds, almost 2.5 blocks per game. Do not sleep on my man Haas Whiteside. Do not do that. And if you say we ain't got shooters, 4 out of 5 of these guys on this roster was all defensive first team multiple times, right? With the exception of Chris Bosh. I believe nobody you can put together throughout the entire tenure of the 80s will be able to match this starting 5 plus the 5 I got coming off the bench. Please elaborate on that if you do.
Elder, round 3, you got a chance to elaborate.
I'm going to decline to elaborate because I don't believe these debates are about 2K games that you're trying to put together and put out there. I think we're supposed to look at what these players did in their eras, those teams, because this is a team thing, not about players. What those teams did in that era and compare it with an educated analysis of what it would do against this other team. Not these hypotheses and these theories that we want to throw out that if this guy could have played with this guy. We ain't doing all that. I mean, everybody knows all the players on the Boston Celtics in the 90s. Everybody know that Hall of Fame all-star team that started with Danny Ainge, Dennis Johnson, Larry Bird, Kevin McHale. You had the Chief coming in at the center. Then you had guys like Bill Walton get over there, days like Dave Sheastings. See, I can name a lot of these players. Wedman, I can name these players that was on these teams. Y'all not going to know them, though. Most of y'all weren't even around to watch these teams in the 80s. So what good would it for me to tell you the hypothetical of these players that played that were very good? You don't even know them. But you do know the history of what these teams did. And when you take the collectiveness of these teams, one thing this team had was chemistry. They had cohesiveness. They didn't have that with this 80s team. I mean, with this 2010s team. And you pushing it. The decade is 10 through 9. You don't get to 20. That starts a new decade. You're trying to add to your team, and it still ain't helping you. That team still wouldn't be better than those Boston Celtics, in my personal opinion, from what they put out there in history. That was a defensive juggernaut team who had offensive firepower as well, and the only team that could have beat them back then was the mighty Lakers.
OG, last round. Do your thing.
I mean, to be honest with you, the Boston Celtics completely carried throughout the 80s, them and the Lakers. They were the focal point of the entire NBA. So you proving your argument to be that the Boston Celtics are more legendary or had a better run or was a dynasty, you should be able to prove that bar none. Because can you make a legitimate case that the Miami Heat had a dynasty? No. So I have to gather with the information that's provided to me. I don't have that advantage that you have, which should be easy to argue on your end. It's harder for me to argue for just a specific Heat team. Now, if you want to pick a specific Heat team, I would go with either the 2013 or the 2012 team who had stability all the way around, with a Ray Allen, with a Mario Chalmers, with a LeBron James, D Wade, and a foundation that they built, and a great defensive unit, guys that can get up and down the floor. These guys won 27 consecutive games. That's third all time for the most consecutive games won in NBA history. And I don't think the Boston Celtics was even in the top 5 in that category any year in the 1980s. So we can start off with that right then and there. First and foremost, if we're going bat for bat, tick for tack, who's guarding LeBron James? He's the second greatest player of all time, in my opinion. And I don't think Larry Bird can do a damn thing with him, nor anybody. Dennis, nobody on that defensively can sniff anything LeBron James can bring to the table. And I think you and I both know that. We saw the way the Heatles got up and down that court. So if you want to label it to just one specific team, you can take your 1985 Boston Celtics. Give me the 2013 Miami Heat.
Yo, that was topic 1. Go ahead and put the time up. Let's run the polls. You guys get over there. Make sure you vote. This was a fire-ass first topic. We had the 80s Celtics versus the 2010s Heat. These guys both took different angles, but it all came back around full circle. I like that debate, fellas. That was a good first topic. All right, we got 1:15 left. Y'all go ahead and get over there. Make sure that you vote. I've said it before. Said it last week. I'm going to say it again this week. The live vote isn't the end all be all. If you're watching this video and it's not live, make sure that you comment on the video who you think wins each round or who won as a collective. If you got OG the Beast sweeping, say I got OG the Beast in the sweep. If you got Elder Rufus 2-1, say I got Elder Rufus 2-1, and those votes will all be tallied at the end of the season, and those will go towards the rankings or the standings or seedings, if you will, for the playoffs. All right, fellas, we got 30 more seconds left. Y'all go ahead and go slap that like button and then go vote on the poll as well. We are going to transition into topic 2. Topic 2 will be based around the hand-checking ban and the impact that it had on perimeter defense and on the NBA as a whole. These guys are going to get into the facts, and they're going to say whether they believe that this was good for the game or whether it ultimately wasn't all that good for the game. Y'all got 10 more seconds left. Make sure you vote and like the video. Elder, I started with you. So, OG, you will go first this round. The poll is almost up, and we will determine who won. And it looks like from the poll, Elder Rufus took 61% of the votes. So that's how it is for round 1. Let's get into round 2. OG the Beast is on you.
To know where you're headed, you got to know where you've been, right? I want to describe what exactly hand checking is, because believe it or not, I had an argument in a debate with somebody in the comments on one of my older videos about exactly what hand checking is, right? Hand checking is when a defensive player is allowed to put their hand somewhere near the torso, waist area in an attempt to guide the offensive player in the direction that they want to go. They completely banned this back in 2004, and I think it was for the worst, because being able to physically impose and dominate the game defensively was something that's completely been lost. It's a completely lost art in today's NBA, to the point to where people don't even want to play defense. Now, imagine if you were to allow a perimeter defender, somebody of the likes of Drew Holiday, who I think is the best perimeter defender in the league right now, it would engage more of a defensive standpoint for a guy like Paul George, a guy like Kawhi Leonard, these guys that have real defense. Imagine if you could hand check in today's league. I think it'll slow down some of these 30 points per game scores, which I will get to in a little bit, and I think it'll allow more of a defensive, physical game. Can you do the rip through that Chris Paul is so famous for? Will that be called as a foul? There'll be less free throw baiting from these offensive minded guys. And I know what the league tried to do by putting a ban on the hand checking rule. They wanted to lean the game towards offense, and I'm a guy, if you know me, you know I love offense, but I just feel like defensively the game has completely escaped itself, and banning the hand checking rule, in my opinion, was one of the worst things the NBA could have done.
All right, you heard it first from OG the Beast. Elder Rufus, it's on you for your topic 1.
Okay. I'm an old school player, so I played in the hand checking era, and I do appreciate the hand checking era. But when you think about basketball, you have to think about it from the global sense, and you have to think about it from an economical sense. A lot of fans don't want to do that because they're not writing the checks. They're not producing the product. They just want to watch and be entertained. You know what I mean? But they don't want to care about the intricate things that go behind the scenes. The reason hand check got put out of the game is the game turned into wrestling matches. You start seeing 75 to 79 and 80 to 80. You know, it was very hard for teams to start getting up over 100. And guys that were kind of brutish, really not playing basketball, started getting major roles in the game. Fans was not paying to see that. Fans was complaining. They didn't want to see it. So I believe hand checking actually overall was a good thing for the whole game of basketball, because it allowed the offense to have a little bit more of an advantage than giving the defense more of an advantage. Now you can see more scoring. Now you can see more of the athleticism. Now you can see them face up instead of having to turn their back. It made the game more entertaining to a lot of people. Now, a lot of us old heads, we used to playing that way, so we'd love to go back out there and do that. But for the whole of basketball, that's why hand checking was eliminated, and it made the game that much more entertaining when the offense wasn't limited by these aggressive defensive players. I'll get into more in the next couple rounds.
All right, OG, round 2.
Well, hand checking, like I mentioned in the first round, was banned in 2004. And I'm not against non-hand checking, because I believe defense is a skill-based type of basketball. Part of the game of basketball is one of those dirty work things where you got to actually want to do it to partake in it, like rebounding, right? So I feel like if you're a great perimeter defender in today's game, man, if you add hand checking to this league, the game physicality will do nothing but improve the game. To me, it's too many people that are average Joes putting up 30, 40, 50 points any given night on a regular season. And to me, I think it's okay, it's cool, but really it diminishes what the previous guys did. For a prime example, the ban happened in 2004. So let's give it a 10-year sample from 2004 to 2014. Do you know how many players averaged 30 points per game during that 10-year span? Only 5 guys, rightfully so, right? Kevin Durant, LeBron James, Dwayne Wade, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, all guys we know are prolific scorers. But in the year 2022, which was just a couple seasons ago, 6 guys averaged 30 just in that season, not a 10-year span, just in that one season. 6 guys averaged 30. That's lunacy to me. I believe more defense needs to be played, and it starts with allowing hand checking, in my opinion. Joel Embiid, Luka Doncic, Damian Lillard, Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Giannis, and Tatum. Great players, don't get me wrong, but damn it, these guys are scoring way too easily in today's game, and I think we need some of that old school physicality added to the defensive side of the ball.
There you have it. Elder Rufus is back on you. Topic 2, round 2.
All right, I love the stats. I think it speaks to the attrition of what the NBA actually wanted their game to evolve to. It is an entertainment first and foremost, y'all. I know deep in our hearts, we're competitors. We want chips. That's it. When we get on the court, we get our best 5 players out there, and we want to win every time we go. That's not what the NBA is, though. The NBA is a game, but it's a business first. So you have to promote that, and you have to give the clients what they want. If your people paying want to see a lot of high scoring and guys scoring a lot of points, you got to set your game up to do that. Now, does it totally eliminate defense? Well, this year's champ shows you that. You got a team like the Boston Celtics who shot threes more than anybody in the league. But if you look at their skilled players, what else could they do? They all could shoot the mid-range. And the number one thing all Boston Celtics players could do is what? They all could play defense. Name me a guy in that starting lineup for Boston: Derek White, Holiday, Porzingis, Tatum, Brown, whoever else they had, even an old school guy. All them dudes know how to play defense. So offense sells, and that's what you want for your product. Defense still wins championships. So it didn't hinder teams that actually know how to play defense when it comes to being in position, sliding your feet, talking, communicating, adjusting, things like that. It's supposed to be positions basketball, right? Look how the Celtics set it up. Now, I'm a Laker fan, but I got to give them credit. They were the best defensive team in the NBA all year. And look who ended up winning in the end, the best defensive team. But they also entertained you at the same time by shooting 53s a game. So they figured it out. You have to grow. You have to grow.
OG, round 3.
I think teams shooting 53s a game is something that was going to happen throughout the evolution of the sport, right? But also it has a lot to do with the lack of physicality in today's game. But I feel like if you allow certain guys that are primary defenders to be able to engage more with these offensive players without drawing so many fouls, and think about how James Harden lived at the free throw line. Think about how Joel Embiid free throw baits a lot of these defenders into doing exactly what he wants them to do. He puts a lot of big men in foul trouble. He puts a lot of superstars in foul trouble, forcing you to watch guys that we don't really care to watch. So if we're going to do that anyway, why not allow some physicality? Why not allow these guys to get toughened up? Imagine if Drew Holiday can hand check. Like, for prime example, who was the number 1 ranked defense in the league? Nobody cares, right? I think it was Minnesota, but who really gives a damn? They had a great run this year, but nobody cares because they didn't impose their will. They were not a threat to anybody coming into any games. Nobody thought about, oh my God, like they feared the bad boy Pistons back in the 90s, like they feared some of these great primarily known defenders and defenses back in the 90s and the 80s. Like that aspect of basketball has completely gotten eliminated. And I understand that allowing these guys to hand check may slow the game down, but it'll also open up opportunities for these guys that truly want to dedicate themselves to the defensive side of the ball. Don't pay attention to whether hand checking should be allowed or unallowed. Pay attention to the fact that I'm presenting you to why I believe it was for the worst of the league and it should be brought back.
You're on mute, Ron.
Elder Rufus, round 3. You got it.
Okay, man, I love the history lesson. And at the end of the day, let's deal with the facts. What did the aggressiveness of players being able to be aggressive on the defensive end hand checking cause? It caused fights, y'all. You go back and look, it was bolos being thrown in my era. You needed to be ready to fight physically. Ball your fist up and throw them. People didn't want to pay that. They want to do that. They go watch MMA. They go watch boxing. They didn't want to see that in basketball. But that's what it leads to in a 48-minute game when you got these superior athletes out here, all of them strong as all get out, and you constantly banging and fighting against each other. There's a way to be physical without having it to become confrontational. And that's what they've been able to figure out now, because they still want to be entertained even with the physicality. They haven't taken it away. They just given more of an advantage to the offense. And again, I'll go back to it. These teams that play defense as a team, they're the ones that are always standing in the end. So it hasn't hurt defense that much. Now, does the defense look as good as they did back then? No. But guess what you don't have to worry about? You don't have to worry about getting clotheslined. You don't have to worry about, your nose getting broken. I mean, that's very rare nowadays. You don't have to worry about somebody coming up to you, clocking you on the side of your head and possibly ending your career. That stuff was happening. So you had to tame that to a degree to put your product out there. And I think the NBA has done a really good job. Hey, real quick, look at the new TV contract. You think we'd have that if we still boxing in the arena? That's all because handshake taken away. Look at the billions that they're getting now because people want to see it. They ain't paying that for fighting. They'll go play boxing.
All right, y'all. That is the end of topic 2. Go ahead and put up the clock.
Good stuff, OG.
Let's go ahead and put up the
Because I probably would have preferred to argue the other side. That's good stuff, though, bro.
Yeah. Same.
Good stuff.
Same. It's a good debate so far.
Yes, sir.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. The poll is up. You guys make sure you get over there and go vote. Exercise your vote. We got 300 people in here. We should have 300 votes by the end of this minute and 15 seconds. Fellas, I told everybody, y'all already knew it. This was going to be one of them type of debates, and it has lived up to the expectations. Probably even did a little better than what a lot of y'all expected that it would be. So let's go ahead and keep it pushing. We got the third topic to debate tonight, and that is prime Bill Russell. What would he look like in today's NBA? But more importantly, what impact would he have in the NBA today? It's up to you guys to paint the picture for all of us out here and let us know what exactly would Bill Russell be and do today. All right, we got 30 seconds left on the poll. Y'all make sure you get over there. And while you over there, hit that like button. Also hit the subscribe button. Here we go, y'all. It is the last round of the day. Last topic of the day. Let's do it. Let's do it. 15 more seconds. Get over there and get your votes in. All right. We started with you, Elder. So we're going to finish with you. All right, let's go ahead and get it. Let's go ahead and get to it. Elder Rufus, it is on you first. OGDABEAST, you will go second. Your time starts when you start. Wait, okay. Hold up. And before you go, my bad. Before you go, Elder, you did win round 2 of the live vote. You took 58% of those votes. Once again, this isn't the end all be all. Y'all get in there and cast your votes if you aren't watching live. Elder, it's back on you for topic 3. Your time starts when you do.
All right. Bill Russell's impact on NBA today. You're not going to eliminate his rebounding. You're not going to eliminate his shot blocking. You're not going to eliminate the minutes that he played, which he never came off the court. His durability was incredible. One thing a lot of people don't talk about with Bill Russell was his basketball IQ. The man was a genius, a savant when it came to understanding the game. He was extremely selfless, too. He really was. He was just a selfless player, wanted to do whatever it took for them to win, didn't care about being in the spotlight, things like that. And he was a very good communicator. And he was a tough-minded guy because what a lot of people don't understand, the things he went through when it came to racism, all that kind of stuff that he had to overcome and still get out there and be the example that he needed to be. So I think he would have had a major impact on today's game. Now, would he have won 11 chips, y'all? No, the rules have changed so that owners can't manipulate like their owner did back then and centralize all the talent that go to college and then have to come to them, because y'all had to understand how the draft was back then. It was a regional draft. You had to draft people in your area. So what the coaches would do, what's the name did, Red Auerbach, I'm going to get all the great players to go to these schools in my region so I can draft from them. That's how the Boston Celtics got all these great players. So he wouldn't have probably had 11 chips, but he still would have been a no-brainer Hall of Famer for the simple fact, look at guys his size now, 6'9", that are still great. Like Dennis Rodman, he's not considered one of the greatest rebounders of all time. That's exactly what Bill Russell was, that like body type, all that, 6'9", incredible athlete, all of that. But I think his IQ and all that is even on a greater level.
OG the Beast, it's on you. Take us away.
Well, first and foremost, if you follow me and you know how I get down, I'm not the biggest Bill Russell fan. I believe he's the most overrated superstar in NBA history, but I'm not going to doubt what he did do on the court when he was on the court. You know, there's a cliche that says, oh, this guy was past his time, or he was ahead of his time, or Bill Russell came into the league right at the perfect time, because that shit wouldn't be flying what he accomplished accolade wise in today's game, nowhere near about, because in my opinion, he's not a top 10 basketball player of all time. A lot of guys even got him in their top 5. I don't understand that one. To me, in order to be a top 10, most of my guys in the top 10 outside of Stephen Curry were two-way players. And if you're not going to crack the ability to be a two-way player, you had to have at least been extremely dominant on one end, which Bill Russell was on the defensive end. But let's be honest, is Bill Russell a better defender that Stephen Curry is, a better scorer? I beg to differ. So I would take Stephen Curry over Bill Russell in that sense. But to be honest with you, Bill Russell was about 6'9", 215 pounds, 210 pounds. That's Paul George. That's Paul George. I mean, for instance, like Scotty Barnes is 6'9", 230, 235. Would Bill Russell be an elite rebounder in today's game, honestly, at that size and at that weight with that stature and that frame? I don't know. You guys want to book it as if it's a positive, like if it's 100%. I can't argue that. 6'9", 210, that's pretty frail, man. It's guards that size.
All right. Elder, is back to you. Round 2. Let's do it.
6'9", 210 is still a huge man in the world today. And that's why I gave you the example of Dennis Rodman. They the same exact size, y'all. Him and Dennis Rodman. Not him and Paul George. Him and Dennis Rodman are the same exact size. And again, I talk about the man's IQ. Back then, he was the elite of athleticism. Only guy that was more athletic than him was Wilt Chamberlain. So imagine if he's in this era and he's the most elite athlete in this era. So you got to project him in this era. We can't just take him from the late 50s and 60s and say he's got to play the same way in 2024. We can't do that. If he was the most elite athlete in his era, make him the most elite athlete in this era. Now, offensively, he still would not have been great. That's why I compared him to Dennis Rodman. He was serviceable, but I don't like his shooting percentage as an offense. But he would have dominated the glass. Because if a guy like Dennis Rodman can, he can. We got a guy like Russell Westbrook who's 6'4", right? 6'3", and he's getting double-digit rebounds. He's leading the league in triple doubles. Why would a guy 6'9" that's an elite athlete not be able to lead the league in rebounds? I think he could. This league, like you just called it soft. You said they're soft. So who's going to stop him? Which guy in this league this year is going to stop him from being in the league? And then don't forget, he's one of the smartest guys. He's the guy that actually, in his older years, was able to play and coach the team to a championship and beat the mighty Lakers. The man was a savant on the court. So I'm translating all that to today.
All right, OG, is back to you. Round 2. Your time starts when you do.
Like I said, you really have to be good at basketball in order to crack my top 10, which Bill Russell, to me, on the offensive end, he was way too challenged to be put in that elite conversation with the guys I got on that list, right? So if we comparing Bill Russell like a comp for player for today's game, I would compare him to like a DeAndre Jordan at his best. I would give him a shot blocking Draymond Green maybe, because he was able to start the break. He was able to get the ball up. He can pass the ball fairly well, especially for his size and the position that he played. But like prime example, right? Back in the 1962 season, everybody was putting up godly numbers because the NBA was moving at an all-time fast pace, 150 possessions per game compared to today, which is about 100 to 105 possessions per game, right? So you got an extra 40 possessions per game back in the 1962 season. Wilt Chamberlain averaged 50 because of that. You know, Eldon Baylor averaged 40 because of that. You know, Big O averaged 30 because of that. You know, these guys were putting up godly numbers, but the MVP winner was Bill Russell, and he averaged 18 a night, something he's done perennially throughout his career. He's never averaged 20 points per game in a fast-paced league. To me, he is offensively challenged. Shooting 42% from the field from layup range is crazy to me. Y'all want to clown on Angel Reese? Take a look at what Bill Russell did during his career. And we talking about defense. Yeah, he dominated defensively, but not against Wilt Chamberlain, who averaged 25 and 20 against him when he played against him. So who else was there to face at the center position? Bill Russell was playing me and you at the center position back then. Let's be honest.
Elder, you got some arguing to do. It's on you.
I just have to disagree. I've looked it up. The average center back then was about 6'8", 6'9", so he wasn't playing against me and you because we're not that tall. But I will say he was challenged offensively, y'all. It wasn't like he was garbage, but he was challenged offensively. But he dictated the game from the defensive end, from steals to blocks to rebound. And rebounding, he wasn't average, y'all. He wasn't a 10, 11, 12 rebounding guy. He was the best rebounder of all time. Next to Wilt Chamberlain, nobody's been a better rebounder than him. So, and Wilt is like the most incredible athlete of all time, just period. You know what I mean? But so I'm putting that into this era. I'm not saying he's a DeAndre Jordan. See, that's where it's hard for you to take this guy in his era and move him to this era. And you downgrade him because you just look at how he played then. How would he play now without having to play in chucks, y'all? How would he play now if he didn't have to fly coach and sit in the airport for 3 hours? You see what I'm saying? He was on private jets, and he had all the best trainers, and he had all the best dietitians, and he had all the best therapists and everything that you need now that you get. If he was pampered, but he had the mindset that he had. And remember, his mindset showed you how he was living in a city like Boston, dealing with the stuff he dealt with. This man was laser focused, and his IQ was off the chart. Everybody says he was a savant. He understood the game. So he would have been able to understand what it takes to win against these guys. And he went out and done it because he had the skill set to do it. Now, do you need him to score 20 a game? No. That's why he won the MVP, because defensively, he dictated the games.
All right, OG, take us home. This is the last round on the last topic of this debate. Talk to us.
Hey, good points, Elder Rufus, but I don't give a damn what charter flight you put him on. I don't give a damn what water fountain he drinks from. I don't give a damn what Gatorade bottle he got in his hand when he's on the bench. You will not be able to persuade me that Bill Russell will be any better than what we seen in the 1960s. I'm sorry. That man was completely offensively challenged. There's nothing we could do about shooting 42% from layup range. He's literally getting his own rebounds. I don't understand what point we can illustrate to try to overshadow that point. Like, there's nothing that you could tell me that would literally not be him, Dre Jordan, Andre Drummond. He's along those lines. Just watch him play. Watch how he moves his feet. Watch how he dedicates himself to completely one side of the ball, defensive side of the ball. He was an extremely, extremely challenged scorer. Like, I'm trying to find a better word than challenge, but there is none. Look, you giving me 150 possessions and you can never average 20 points per game throughout your entire tenure. If we factor that in, right, Bill Russell in 1962 averaged 18 and 22. If we do if we chop it up and break it up to how it is and compare it to today's standards, right, with today's possessions, it would be about 10 to 11 points per game and about 12 to 13 rebounds per game. We did the math already. We chopped all of that up, and that's what it would be. Who does that sound like? Dre Jordan. Would he be leading the league in rebounds? I can't promise that at 6'9", 210, but he was small. He wouldn't be all of what y'all cracking him up to be. I'm sorry.
All right, man. Y'all get over to these polls right now. We putting it up right now. Y'all make sure y'all go vote. Hey, man, you see Elder Rufus got the disrespectful sign up.
I'm just keeping it a buck, man. That's just what it is.
That's disrespectful, bro.
Man, Bill Russell was garbage. I'm sorry.
Wow.
Hey,
he said he was garbage, y'all.
He was a great defensive player. But
oh my God.
We need both sides. Can nobody be in my top 10 if you're not playing both sides of the ball? And if you're not playing both sides of the ball, you better be hellacious offensively. This
wasn't a debate if he's a top 10 player. We're trying to translate his skill set from then to now. But we have to make it modern. We can't keep him in the 50s and 60s and bring him to 2024.
I understand that logic.
He was the elite of the elite athletically in his era.
No doubt. So just because no, we can't do that.
Jordan is not the elite of the elite in athleticism.
For his position when he was in his prime, yeah, he was. How many more elite athletically gifted guys can you name? Dre Jordan was jumping outside of the gym. He led the league in dunks.
It's more than jumping and than athleticism, bro. He just was not there. And then his IQ wasn't even close. I mean, let's not even talking
no,
about.
not IQ. Yeah, not
He didn't understand
stylistically,
the
of
game.
course not. He wasn't as intelligent as
Oh.
him, but to say that Bill Russell would transition, like you want to give him all the attributes he has now plus some. So you want to turn him Super Saiyan. I'm not going to allow you to do that. That's not even physically. You want to turn this man into Superman. You can't take what he
That's
got,
what he was
take his
back then.
athleticism, take everything like that, and then put him in all the best gyms and then add on to that. So what we saying? He gonna develop a mid-range game? He gonna get a 15 to 17-foot jump shot? Can he step behind the arc and shoot the three? What are we saying about Bill Russell in today's game? What is he gonna be?
Fellas, I gotta step in right now. I gotta step in. The chat is loving this. They talk about one more round. Unfortunately, we can't do that. The debate has already been set. It's 3 rounds, but I told y'all this was gonna be one of them one battles. I knew it was gonna be the best battle of the day. Y'all seen it. They came up here, they slugged it out, and it looks like for round 3, the live votes got OGDABEAST taking 70% of the votes. So good shit today, fellas. Y'all came through, y'all held it down, y'all stood on y'all points, y'all made compelling arguments, and maybe one of y'all was disrespectful and maybe one of y'all wasn't. But ultimately, it was a good battle. It was a good battle. All right,
It was
fellas.
a great battle. I had fun.
Next week, we will see you guys, and it looks like next week y'all got. Oh no! Y'all got buys? No. OG, you got casual. Yep. And Elder, you do got to buy. So OG, you will see casual. That's gonna be a good debate. I'm looking at the topics right now. It's gonna be fire. I'm gonna get those over to you soon. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this up and conclude this. Y'all make sure you go vote. Exercise your vote to everybody that's not watching live right now. We're gonna see you guys again next week. Appreciate you for coming through. $1,000 cash prize. And this here very belt right here. One of y'all gonna get it. I'm stamping this right now. One of y'all gonna get it. All right. Until next time, y'all be easy.
Yes, sir.